Tim McCarver has been doing the ALCS. He will do the World Series, and he joins us now. Tim, welcome. How are you?
I'm doing great, Mike. How you doing,
Good,
man?
thank you. And I tell you, Tim, it's been a terrific series, has it not?
Oh, my gosh. Are you kidding? 4 one-run ball games. And last night, in many ways, was as good as Game 2. It's funny how the games churn out differently and turn out differently. Of course, the big blow in the series so far has been the grand slam home run by David Ortiz in Game 2. But last night, it's as innocent as a wild pitch that scored what proved to be the winning run.
And, Cabrera is interesting, as last night he set a stage in that game in so many ways, clearly not himself, trying, having his moments with the bat. I'm surprised they're pitching to him with 2 out in first base open, which they have twice in the series.
Right.
Both times he's hurt him. But he's not himself, and you can, he's somewhere in between. You wonder just how dangerous he is when he comes up with these spots,
Well, I think the biggest pitch in last night's ball game was when Tozawa came in and threw the fastball low and away, and he grounded into a double play, even though a run scored and made it 4-3. That was the big pitch in that ball game, and kind of defused the Tigers for the rest of the way, because you're getting into that Breslow and Uehara territory, and those guys have turned out to be just brilliant.
Uehara's become Bruce Sutter.
Oh, he's become Mariano Rivera.
It's amazing how good he's gotten. It's unbelievable. I mean, he has really just become just a stunning pitcher.
I've never seen anything like it. In fact, what we had from Stats Inc. last night was one of the most telling things I've ever seen about a pitcher. Koji Uehara has allowed fewer base runners per inning than any pitcher in any season all time.
That's amazing. That is. You go back to Gibson and Sandy Koufax. That is amazing what you're saying.
Christy Matheson 100 years ago.
Right.
Just staggering success. And a strike thrower, too. This guy, whether it's a fastball or a splitter, and he throws 91 miles an hour. Even Rivera, you can understand how Rivera does it with the cutter at the end. The ball breaks late and the whole bit, but Uehara, while he throws strikes, there are a lot of guys who throw strikes, but don't have nearly the success that this guy does.
Napoli getting hot has carried them, and you wonder if on the other side, if Fielder can get going, because he's really been thrust into the middle of this thing,
Yeah, he has, and, he said all he can try to do is hit the ball hard. Well, I know he's trying to do that, and it's mounting, the pressure's mounting and all that sort of stuff, but they have pitched him well, and it seems like that 4-3 ground out has been his mantra during the series. But of course, you need everybody to produce. It's kind of tough to put it on one guy. However, that being said, this guy was signed by Mike Ilitch. If you remember, a couple of years ago, he said, "Go get him. I'm getting older. He's 83 years old right now. I want to win a World Series," and that's the reason they signed Prince Fielder. And yet, in this postseason, he has not delivered. So if you're gonna accept the money, you accept the responsibility too. But so far, it hadn't worked for him.
No question.
Yeah, the way this thing has unfolded, it's almost with Scherzer and Verlander, if necessary, it's almost like the series is tied. Last night, Joe and I were talking during the broadcast, and before, saying that the Red Sox had to treat Game 5 like Game 7. Well, obviously, the Tigers have to do the same thing. But to me, it's like the series is tied, because you got Max Scherzer 21-3 and Verlander on that postseason roll. The last, September and October, he has been just red hot, and you're not going to score a lot of runs off either one.
No, the one thing is, with Scherzer, he doesn't go deep into games, and you're going to be in that pen. With Verlander, he might pitch all night. Scherzer is pretty much 7 and he's out, sometimes 6. So you're going to be in that pen in Game 6. That's the one difference, Well,
Mike, that's the one difference, and that shouldn't be the difference, because Scherzer can go deeper in the game if Leland wanted him to. I think to be stuck on that pitch count stuff and not allow a guy. I mean, why is Max Scherzer brought out of the game after 7 innings? I mean, he didn't ask out, but he's been conditioned to be pulled in that situation. And I of course, you mentioned Gibson, and I was spoiled at a young age, and to see Koufax and the whole bit, and everybody says, well, Koufax pitched all those innings, and he retired with an arthritic elbow at 30. He was an exception. I mean, there were a lot of guys, Marichal and Gibson and guys like that, that pitched a long time and had not only terrific careers, but record-setting careers. And I think Max Scherzer could be that type guy if they allowed him to do that. But Jim Leyland...
You think it's become a mental block for him, Tim, or no?
I don't think it's a mental block for Scherzer. I think it's a mental block for Leyland.
Interesting.
I mean, why in the world do you pull him after 7 innings in Game 2?
Because if you look, I went down and looked the log. He never goes past 7 innings in a game.
Well, that's true because he's been conditioned to do that, and when you're conditioned to do that, you think you're spent. And if you allow him to do it, if you stretch him out in the whole bit, when the time comes in the postseason, I mean, look. What's that going to do to Max Scherzer? Is his arm going to be ruined? I mean, we've talked about this before, Mike.
Yep.
But I mean, there have been no studies on whether 140 pitches do more to your arm than 120 pitches.
Very true. And now you'll see with Kershaw, you'll see him go 120, 130. You'll see Verlander go 120, 130.
I'll guarantee you he'll do that, and he's the first guy who came back on 3 days rest in the LDS, too.
Yeah, no question.